the policy of Israel and also the most of the overwhelming Israeli Jewish majority was that Gaza should be separated from Israel. They should build their life there and maybe try to make something that worked for them with prosperity, but not as part of Israel. Yes, they are a hostile entity. We don't want nothing to do with the Palestinians in Gaza, but no, direction to go and take Gaza or to annex Gaza or to restore sovereignty over Gaza. And, all of the action was just, to do everything possible to disconnect from Gaza. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, I see that you own a radio station or a podcast. Am I right?
You're very right. Very correct. Where you from?
Okay, and I'm from the United States.
And I'm from Israel. Nice to meet you.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that likewise. So what is it that you're talking about on your podcast?
Mainly about Israel, Palestine, Jewish, Islamic issues related to.
So let's just be fair then. Where do you stand in your country?
I support my country, of course.
And you believe your country's at war?
What again?
Do you believe your country's at war?
Of course. I mean, let me ask you a question. Just because we are the strong side, does it mean that we are the aggressors?
The thing is everybody's talking about Hamas, and Hamas. And I really question people's psychological insanity, because if we're going to talk about sanity or insanity, it needs to be as transparent about what's factual and what's assumed.
Okay. I respect that. By the way, before we continue, you are from the US, right?
I am.
And I assume that you are, from what you say, you are very pro-Palestine, right?
I'm pro-life.
Okay.
I'm pro.
By the way, even if you are pro-Palestine, that's good. That might have, between us a very interesting and stimulating conversation. Maybe even we could clarify things.
Well, when you say pro-Palestine, for me, it's one-sided. And when I like to speak collectively, not from just one country.
Okay, I respect that.
Okay, so that way it doesn't seem like I'm just siding with one country. It's like, no, that applies to any country. Okay. Regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, regardless of your background, your walk of life, doesn't matter. You're a living, breathing human being. You grow up in a tradition culturally. I respect that, because that's who you were. And that's how you were raised. That's how you were brought up. Just like me, I'm an American. Everybody thinks because I'm brown, I'm African American, but I guess politically speaking, I can understand that if I'm going to go back to my roots. Well, I have a white, 100% Caucasian great-grandfather on my dad's mother's side of the family. Okay, so technically, I'm not 100% black.
Okay, but you see yourself more. But nowadays, you see yourself as an American, I assume, right? Like more than anything else.
I'm a black American, yes. By my skin color, I'm 100% American.
Okay.
But my problem is this: I got a dumbass president who I don't support at all, because the choices and decisions he makes, they don't justify helping our people. However, he's not what you consider a political person. He's a businessman. So given the fact that he has business experience, he's thinking from a business sense. But when you mess up with politics, that doesn't conjure each other. It goes against. So, I'm trying to get everybody's feelings about how are you thinking you are at war when you got a man who has 2 kids. He has a 2-year-old son and a daughter, I think she's maybe 10 or 11. I followed her on Instagram. This man is in Gaza filming his own life with his own personal cell phone. And the point is that I'm trying to see how much clarity can I give, or can I paint or try to provide to say, like, dude, seriously, you think you want to be living in a country where you're not waking up every morning to sunrise breakfast? You can't drive. You don't go to a business. Your day-to-day life is based on survival. Your basis, your life basis.
Hold on, if I may. Hold on. I heard you. I was listening. trying to understand where you come from. I think I understand where you come from. Basically,
You're from Israel.
Yeah, I'm from Israel. Yeah,
Okay, and you support your country.
100%. Yeah.
So
Wait, hold on. I want to ask you a question. You're basically saying that the people in Gaza, they cannot go to work, they cannot live properly, that their life is in danger, right?
No, I'm saying.
And by the way,
just
I agree.
A fraction.
Huh?
I'm just saying for a fraction. I'm not painting. What I just painted to you was a life of a person. That's not the whole picture of Gaza.
Right. By the way, I agree.
That's
I don't disagree that they suffer, but I want to ask you a question now. Let me present this, and I want really to have your honest opinion.
Go ahead.
People in Gaza basically are, during the last 2 years almost, in a very, very bitter war. You will define it as G-side. I do not define it as G-side. And basically, you seem to have a lot of value to human lives, right? And that every human being is precious, right? I want to ask a simple question. Wait, I want to ask a simple question. And please be honest. If indeed the people in Gaza, and especially their leadership of Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, if indeed the lives of their people was as precious like you see their lives from the US to Gaza, why won't they surrender? Why won't they release our hostages and then the war is over? I'm not even talking about not to go to war to begin with.
Here's a better question.
But please answer. Please answer.
I'm answering. But from what I just understood how you explained it, why is it one-sided?
No. That wasn't my question. My question was,
I know what your question was.
To define it differently, if I may, the value of human life that you give, that you have, and that maybe even I have, it's not the same thing for the people in Gaza. For them, human life is not top priority. It's something deeper for them. The main priority, why they are in the war to begin with. And I'm not sure, we're not trying to condescend you, by the way. I'm not sure that you really understand their identity and their religion and what motivates them for the war.
See, it's a fair question. But the thing is, you can't really, it's not such a simple answer because everybody has a different perception of life. Some people don't think life is just simple. Well, life in itself is a perception. Everybody lives different lives. Everybody lives a different way of living. Some people don't think life is valuable. Some people don't think life is what it's supposed to be, based on human instincts, based on human racial and it's a really broad spectrum perception when you put it.
And by the way, if I may, sorry to cut you here, one sentence for my neighbors. By the way, I have a lot of Palestinian friends. I really see Palestinians not only as human beings, I also see them as part of the land that I consider as my homeland. I don't see them as something that is utterly, all of them enemies and all of them should be killed, God forbid, or to be deported. But for most or a lot of Palestinians, the human value, life in this world, it's not the main thing. It's the life it's the afterlife. And for some of them, a decent proportion of them, to be martyrs, to be shaheeds, and to die for a noble cause, is even better and worthy to sacrifice, a lot, including also civilians in the war against us.
Right.
And I'm not saying, by the way, that when human beings want to sacrifice for something noble and worthy, that's respectful, that's even honorable. But I claim, and this is maybe we're gonna disagree, that the effort that they put in the sacrifice against us is in the name of heresy, it's in the name of lie, and it's in the name of not cherishing human lives and something constructive, but something the complete opposite. And I'm not going to say that we are perfect, by the way. I'm not going to say
nobody's perfect.
I'm not going to
Nobody's
say that
perfect.
Israel was perfect or did the, that our government did political moves, without any mistakes. I'm not going to say that at all. But at least we have elected leadership that represents our people. They had one election, 2006, until today, no elections. Basically dictatorship, Islamic
In your
dictatorship.
country?
No, I mean in Gaza and also in the West Bank, by the way.
Okay. See, just to be transparent, I don't have a lot of information on Israel and what's happening, but I'm not, I choose not to be ignorant to it because people can speak what they think they know without having the research or fundamental facts that support what they think is a fact. And therefore, I feel like, you know what? Well, you got social media. And I painted that picture because it's like I said, it's just a fraction of what's happening. But I trust journalism when it comes from people who are doing it for nonprofit organizations and not just through news media, which I don't trust at all. I think when you're using your own personal cell phone to show the people online, like, hey, this is who I am, this is my life, this is my kids. I don't have some news reporter coming to interview me. Like, how really raw can you get with a cell phone? It's not just about a device. I'm trying to paint a very clear picture that shows where people are saying what's propaganda.
I'm looking for my hat. You know why I'm looking for my hat? Because if I had a hat, I would take it off for you. Why I take it off for you? Because you now say something which is so rare to hear, that you try to look for the truth, that you try to look for what is the big picture. But I want to tell you this, dear, I really do. Obviously, you, me, everybody has subjective opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anyone that can
Everybody does.
Nobody can be
Everybody
really objective.
does.
Hey, I'm Israeli.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to look in the goggles of being pro-Israeli. They're Palestinian. They're going to look at the reality in pro-Palestinian goggles, right? My only recommendation is, if you really want to see the broad picture of reality or the truth in capital letters, you need to view it the pro-Palestinian point of view and the pro-Israeli point of view, and then
both sides, of course.
And to try to make from that the conclusion what is the straight line of facts and truth, and not distorted media. That I agree with you. The incorporated media basically serve agenda, but so does the pro-Palestinian social activists and also pro-Israeli social activists, right?
Yeah.
But you, if I had the hat and I would take it off, you at least understand it from the beginning, and I really admire and appreciate people that have this humbleness.
I'm humbled.
To convey that in their mindset, and it's really refreshing to hear, for real.
The reason I say this is because, I'm a working adult. I don't have no kids, but I'm on social media a lot because I'm in digital marketing. I just think it's important for people, even as yourself as an Israeli, I have to hear it. Like, you really think this is all about Hamas? I'm like, well, you're not seeing it from my country. And there are people, civil rights activists, even one that I follow very heavily. He's very well known. His name is Sean King.
Sean King?
He's been, yes.
I think I heard about it. I think he hosts people from both sides, right?
Sure you have. He's all over this. He's not the only one, by the way. The thing is, people want to believe so hard about, Trump and the things he's supposedly is doing for his people. But, I just got on here like an hour ago. This was not intended to get on. I hadn't been on here for months. It was just like, I just got home.
You mean here on the Omi TV?
Yes. I had been on Omi since probably earlier this winter. And I just got on here and I'm like, I have a humongous fucking heart for lives. Like, if your heart ain't beating, you're unconscious. And if I can't emphasize that enough, that I don't know what else I could say that could really, stretch how important life is, and to hear people from your country saying that, there's no genocide. I'm like, did I not say there's no media showing you the raw days of people's lives? Did I not mention that? You're telling me that this is about a war. I'm like, my dumbass president sent your prime minister millions, if not billions of dollars. We got people in my country that are halting a whole cargo ship of weapons that are getting transferred to Israel. So why are we stopping a cargo ship leaving my country to go to Israel? And you're telling me a man and women who are using their own personal cell phones, that's propaganda? I'm like, sweetie, if I took my cellular phone camera and I'm recording what's my life like in Gaza, you're telling me that's propaganda? I'm like, you know what? I have to set it at face value. Your sanity intelligence and my sanity intelligence just don't concur.
Let me tell you again, dear. Let me tell you again. I mean, obviously you see things quite differently from what we see things here. I don't know if you know exactly what is the war that we have now is obviously very asymmetric. We have a very strong army. They have also an army, but a weak army. And all of Gaza, unfortunately, was fortified during the last 20 years. It's not that Gaza is innocent people that have no defense. They do have defense, but it's a very, very weak comparing to our might. So, but it doesn't mean that we are having a one-sided war against people that have no intention to kill our people and our women and children. The fact that they can't as much as they want to is because we are stronger. And I will say, praise the Lord, alhamdulillah. And, this is a war also, more than it's on the ground, it's on the media. The Islamic resistance movement, Hamas. What is Hamas? It's Islamic movement. They actually have something like 1,500 media people, soldiers, that go along with their combatants to document the war. Because they emphasize a lot in this asymmetric war, because that's their power comes from their weakness, to show that we are allegedly killing and targeting only women and children and babies. Not that let me tell you honestly, when I see dead child in Gaza, I'm sad, for real. I know that there is suffering there. I want the suffering to stop.
Let me ask you this.
But one thing, if I may, let me just complete this, please. Let me just complete this. But in the same time, Hamas, the Islamic resistance movement, the question is that you need to ask yourself there, why don't their combatants go to war with uniform? And when they die, they're counting their dead of their fighters as civilians. They were with uniform in the first day of the war and in the prisoner exchange. That's the only time that they are in uniform. The rest of the time, they are embedded in civilian population. And if you were in our shoes in the US, I hope that you never will be. You have to make the choice. Either you're going to kill a combatant or you're going to risk your own soldiers and your own civilians not to kill, and also having, dead women, children, and babies. And it's really sad. It's really cynical, too.
So you being in the rest, you think that Gaza is holding hostages, and this has been going on for about a year?
You mean the current war? The current war, yeah. But for sure, there's roots that go way before, for sure.
See, the thing is that I follow Sean King. I've been following him for years, and I follow a lot of different people. Because like I said, I'm not trying to be blindsided about anything. I hear or read, and I like to back up.
Right, you sound like a very genuine person that also want to have genuine conversation, and it's
not for me. It's not just genuine conversation for me. The thing is that there's a lot of propaganda out there, and being an American, everybody is one-sided about what's on Fox News or CBS or ABC and some of these other 500 Fortune company like news medias. So for me, I like to rely on people who are doing it for nonprofit, and not for profit. So for me, I'm always going to reach out to see what's out on social media and compare. And the thing is, since social media is out here, in this digital age, there are a lot of people who are, been talking about this all over, and not just from Israel from Gaza to Palestine, and for me, I thought it was about Hamas, but I've been told that this is not about a war, but that's what they're showing you. And here's another thing I wanted to mention. Now,
Before you continue to your next point that I really want to hear,
sure.
I want to say this following point. It's not only about
Okay.
Hamas, it's also about Hamas. But, if you will ask me, how will I define the root cause of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? I would say it's a deep and even ancient struggle between Islam and Judaism. It's a lot about religion. And I think that a lot of people in America, and especially in the West, because they do not have this, deep understanding what Islam is, also what Judaism is, and have a lot of assumptions that, by the way, some of them are true, but I don't think that to clarify, you can approach our conflict without having at least broad knowledge about what are the motives of the people, the main character that fight here, which means us Jewish Israelis and them Palestinian Muslims.
Yeah.
When for them, I just say one thing, if I may.
Sure,
I asked a Muslim woman in this app a couple of months ago, I asked her the following 3 questions. I asked her, can Jews live under Muslim rule? And she said, of course. Then I asked her another question. Do you believe in equality? She said, of course I believe in equality. My third question was, can Muslims live under Jewish rule? The camera almost blew up from the no that she answered me. This is the equality that, some of the Muslim or many of the Muslims believe. And if, there are a lot of Muslim countries that Jews live under. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. But the principle is that for them, it's natural that they're going to take care of the Jews and Jews going to be under them. But the other way around, it's simply for them go against everything that they believe. And it shouldn't be like this.
I can see that. You made a very broad point there.
And I'm not going to make propaganda and say that in Israel there are 2 million Muslims that live in Israel. They got equality and they have all of the opportunities like us. That's not the point. The point is more deeper than that. It's the legitimacy of Jewish rule anywhere to be also responsible over non-Jews and especially Muslims. And that's a deep issue to clarify, for real.
I agree. Before we go any further, you own a podcast?
Yeah.
Let me follow you.
For sure.
If that's okay.
Of course.
Okay. What's the name of it?
My name in Instagram is Jewish Dawa.
I had that wrote down, given the name on your shirt. Is there any underscore space?
No. It's Jewish space Dawa.
Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Jewish. I see.
Yeah. I'm also an author.
The only reason you're great. Maybe I'll buy your book.
This is my book over there. It's called Shema Ishmael, which is you're Christian, I assume, right?
Say that again.
You're a Christian, I assume, right?
I have a question.
No, you are a Christian, I assume.
Oh yes.
Hallelujah.
So let me clarify, because everybody thinks being a Christian you have to follow strict rules of the Bible. Okay, I'm spiritual.
No, you have also a lot of sects in Christianity. It's not one monolithic thing, for sure.
I don't follow the Bible, but I do read the Bible from time to time. I'm not going around parading my beliefs, my faith, or anything like that, because God accepts people like He says He does in the Bible. So, for people who feel like, you need to go live a completely Christian life, that is your choice.
Right. By the way, God gave all of us freedom of choice as well.
The thing is that, there is so much man-made things said about it that, people just, kind of form their own like perception about it and go with life. If that's how you feel, that is your right. But
Don't
one thing
impose
I
on me
deep
what
down
is
believe,
what is not comfortable for me or something like that, right?
yes,
For sure,
right,
hundred
right.
percent.
See, I just real saw where I did tell you like I have a 100% white great grandfather. My dad's mother is half black, half white, and Cherokee Indian. Okay,
Wow, that's a
and
interesting comment. By the way, where do you live in the U.S.?
I'm in North Carolina.
Ah,
I'm originally from Georgia,
North Carolina.
and
I
yes,
remember a lot of hip
and
hop song from that time, but you know, PD Pablo.
yeah, of course, of course. I don't know a lot about them though. Just I watched through videos as a child. Um, but growing up, I listened to a lot of different music, and
By the
I
way,
don't have like a certain
slavery used to
accent.
be very very strong, very dominant until the even the 30s, I think, right?
Yeah,
In this in this state.
yeah. But from here, I've been here 15 years, and I don't have like a certain like lifestyle I'm living by. I live my life by being healthy, respecting people, and minding my own business when I'm out. But getting on here, I do have a huge heart for people out there in Gaza and Palestine. But when I think about what has happened, I'm like, there's a lot more to it than people. I know there's a lot more to it. However, what I don't like is seeing my president, my dumbass president, he's supporting by sending millions of dollars, billions of dollars. And this is fact. I'm not even making this up. But here's the thing I found out last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. The guy that I spoke to this about prior to coming to you, he even acknowledged it. I'm like, well, that told me. That was confirmation enough. Like you said, you already knew about it. So there's a commercial. He said it was from my state. I said it has absolutely nothing to do with my state. I said this commercial I was telling about, I said it's from your country. I'm like, and I'm telling you, you think it's just Hamas. I'm like, your country, your prime minister is trying to build upon Gaza. And there's a whole commercial about it. And this wasn't in the news media here in my country. No, this was on social media.
I tell you something as a response, if I may, okay?
Sure.
Number one, I like Trump, but I also agree with you that the American involvement in Israel, and especially in the Middle East, is problematic. I agree with you. I actually think personally that we should initiate a move to stop getting financial support from you and to be a real ally of the United States and not under the courtesy of the United States. That's number one. Number two,
okay.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that Bibi Netanyahu wants to take over Gaza for financial benefits.
All I know, and I seen the commercial myself. There's a commercial that was on so when I say civil rights activists, this is a commercial who posted the video. You're not going to see it on mainstream media.
Yeah, but the underline is that, do you believe that Israel wants to take over Gaza in order to gain material benefits? Honestly, I'm not saying it in a way to mock you or something like that. I'm just
no, I don't think you're mocking me at all. I just know when I see something like that, my balance thing, I lean more towards it in hopes that it don't happen. But given what's already been seen, I can give my heart and my full support however I do that in any format, for the rights of humans. However, and the things that are inevitable, it's what's happening right now. And I seen where go ahead.
I'm just gonna say regarding the motive of Israel regarding Gaza now. I live in Israel, and before October 7th, the policy of Israel and also most of the overwhelming Israeli Jewish majority was that Gaza should be separated from Israel. They should build their life there and maybe try to make something that worked for them with prosperity, but not as part of Israel. yes, they are a hostile entity. We don't want nothing to do with the Palestinians in Gaza. But no, direction to go and take Gaza or to annex Gaza or to restore sovereignty over Gaza. And, all of the action was just, to do everything possible to disconnect from Gaza. So now that people...
No, continue.
So now that people say, and I hear some people say that we actually wanted this war to happen so that we will have a justification to conquer Gaza. It simply doesn't add up with the policy for 20 years of the Israeli government. But since now it happened, October 7th, I think that, my prime minister, who, by the way, I support, but he's not like my ultimate leader that I will obey and I
understand what you mean.
Yes, Bibi, please, Bibi, whatever you say. I think that a responsible leader has to take measures and make sure that October 7th will never happen again. I don't think that I agree completely with his policy regarding what's happening now in Gaza. I actually think that we had to do something different in Gaza. You want to hear my opinion?
Okay. Sure.
I actually think that we should, before October 7th, we should have at October 8th, after the attack on us, I don't think that we should have shoot even one bullet. We should concentrate all of our army along the Gaza border, give them ultimatum of 1 week and say the following: either now you're going to bring all the hostages back and the heads of the leaders of Hamas chopped to us, and we're gonna settle the score, or the gates of hell gonna be open as an ultimatum. Not that they will agree, but at least to give them maybe, I don't know. But now that eventually things happen, I think that we should give them 3 options. Option number 1, you want to fight, you want to continue the struggle against us, you want to continue to sacrifice in the name of your corrupted, perverse religious interpretation, fine, bring it on. You're going to suffer. We're going to help you to become martyrs or shaheeds. Option number 2, you want to migrate. You don't want to live here. You want to go to Europe, to the US, to an Arab country. The door is open. Get out. And option number 3, if you want to live under our rule and you want to live under Israel and you want also to enjoy the prosperity and the blessings that the Jewish return to our land brought, come and join Israel and be part of Israel. We're going to control Gaza. You can live and be part of Israel with no checkpoints, with no military rule. But we're also going to have Jewish communities back again in Gaza and also synagogues in Gaza. Like you guys have also mosques in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv. And let's live together. And let's find a way to have partnership, a real partnership, to live together with harmony. That's
I would think
what I would...
With what you said, I would think, that would be the ultimate goal for any country. I hate to say this, but I don't know if your prime minister is a good person at all.
For sure. He's not in that direction. I agree.
And the thing is that, following back up on my conversation about me following Sean King for some years, he's had his entire Instagram account banned for I think 2 years, 3 years. I'm not exactly sure. Probably just a year, and then they reinstated it, and then they banned it again. The thing is, when you have such a huge following of a very strong political civil rights activist like Sean King, it goes to show that this guy is giving more transparency than any other news station combined, possibly. And the reason I say this because, I like to be sane and factually correct about what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, and especially someone like Sean King who's out there. And I think he's already converted into Islam. So for somebody who has dealt with more hardships and who have seen, and he posts these videos, on in his emails, in his newsletter that I get every day. And honestly, I don't even want to look at them no more, because when I started to see how these people were out here, even my own people, I'm just saying, they could be black, white, Hispanic. Don't care. Like, you're, Asian American, you're Hispanic American, doesn't matter. You're an American. You just Jewish or Greece, whatever, right? So, but to hear like even some people out there are being killed, and I can't make that up. I'm like, well, if they're going to be transparent about everything, they need to be transparent about everything. I don't like to be one-sided. And if I see anything one side, I'm like, okay, well, where's the other side? Because you're showing me one part. I need to know the full story. And I hear about how, you're not Israel, but Gaza or Palestine, they've been at it for years. I'm like, well, now that I'm getting brushed up on the past, you got someone like Sean King, he's posting these videos in his newsletter. And he says things like, I don't want to show you this, but I have to, so you guys can see what your taxpayers, me in this case, is paying to fund the war. I'm like, what war? I'm like, this is genocide. This is genocide.
Let me
hospitals.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I think that, in order to try to say something constructive for, what's next, I really believe that people from the outside who are not Palestinian or Jewish Israelis or Jewish in general should be pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian together. Not to take one side, because eventually, the more someone from the outside is, I'm pro-Palestine, F Israel, and the occupation, genocide, all of that stuff, that create antagonism among people like me and a lot of people like me, eventually to see the Palestinians as part of the future, to try to get, because eventually, for real, there's not going to be a situation that there's not going to be any Palestinians or not going to be any Jews in this land. We will stay here in the end of the day. And eventually a lot of people, like, for example, Candace Owens or Jackson Hinkle, play a role in this conflict, in our conflict, and gain their status over promoting the war and not being in a way to try to minimize the gaps that we have, and we have a lot of gaps, but they serve and they gain their popularity based on who they are against. Is this something that's going to lead to peace? I don't think so. I think this is something that serve their own selfish interest and their own self-proclamation to fame on our expense. And in the end of the day, who suffered the most? The Palestinians. If it's not,
I agree.
And it's really, really painful for me to see that. It's raging me, because I'm someone that, even though I am, again, pro-Israeli, pro-Zionist, I am a Zionist, super Zionist, but I really do see the Palestinians as part of the future of my land and my people. I really, it's more complicated to explain, but this is how I see things. So anyway, listen, I really want to get going forward.
Sure.
But listen, it was great talking to you. You really have.
It was great talking to you as well.
And somehow, even though obviously we are different in our views, I really appreciate and respect people that have the will not only to search for the truth, and they say their own truth without being antagonistic, but also a lot of humility and humbleness. And I really appreciate this conversation.
It takes one person to be sane, but it takes a person who's not only sane, but has higher challenges, knowing how to communicate and convey respectfully without being, say, emotional about it. Because your views and my views, I think they were similar. And I do believe that some of the information you gave me definitely gave me more, like I said, an openness in my mind to really go further and seek, where I can see that from. So, that's why I have social media, and I follow certain people who, like yourself, speaks about these things, which allowed me to, like, hey, ask you, let me just follow you, because intentionally, I didn't get on here to talk about Israel at all. And I just literally got on here just to chat, but then I saw it. I'm like, well, those people are in my mind. And I wanted to see if people in your country actually either believe it or, or they're against it or they're not against it, and I'm not surprised. So it's like, you know what? I have a heart, and you being an Israeli, I fully support, who you are and your podcast. And I do appreciate you not only listening, but, giving me more clarification and, allowing me to hear what you think about what's going on as well.
I really respect honest conversations like this. And again, my recommendation is that if someone wants to see the big picture,
Yeah.
view the pro-Israeli what we say and the pro-Palestinian what they say, and try to make this. And I know that you will.
Absolutely.
I know that you will, because again,
Absolutely.
it's not every day, especially in this app, that I speak with people that have this, this like their humanity is intact, their integrity is intact, and their healthy curiosity
Yeah.
to listen, not just to hear, to listen.
Yeah.
So again, I need to look for my hats off, really.